Welcome again back to the Learn from Experience podcast. And today we are doing a special kind of episode for Valentine's Day for the month of February. Um we're going to I guess the topic's going to be along that line of like love and connection, but I think we're going to go a little bit deeper, maybe a little bit more different we're going to take a different take on it. Go instead of just, talking about we're talking about lovey-dovey romantic stuff. I think that we should just also talk about human connection in general and platonic love, the different types of love, and maybe our experiences with those different types of love, and also maybe just and really delve into what it means to connect to others. And you know hopefully we'll talk about our experiences, and you can learn from ours, and down in the comments I hope y'all can also express your own like sentiments about this, and share your own experiences so we can also learn from yours. That'd be great. We got Circus Madness up in the house here. Want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi. You want to say anything else to the
Hi.
peoples? Something else?
No, not really.
You can make your own little motto or little saying if you want. Make up your own little thing. Yeah.
Well, I would have to think about that.
I put him on the spot, guys. Who doesn't know what to say?
No, there's a good three of them that I could use, but they could never be mine. I took them from somewhere. I modified
Oh,
them from somewhere.
oh, okay.
So
You're
yeah,
gonna try being more creative and more authentic, original.
no, not even that.
Not
It's
even that.
just
What then? Never mind. I do want to, yeah. So I want to talk about our experiences with connections, different types of people that we find memorable in our lives, that we've had really important connections, maybe like turning points in our life, crossroads in our life where the connection with of another person had helped us in some way, or taught us something profound, or different things that just give proof to this very sentiment that connection's important, and that we should all reach for it. We should all strive for it, for the betterment of ourselves, or just the or to betterment other people. Do you have any
well, I
people in
mean,
mind? Do you have any people in mind, Circus?
I have several people in mind,
Oh wow.
and unfortunately for me, the majority of them are negative.
The majority that's okay. You can have negative experiences with people, you know, but it,
It's
it did it help you in a
it's
positive way, or
it hindered my life.
oh wow.
It made me lose like a year or 2 years in some cases of like time that I could have been doing something else. It was all types of like horrible, emotionally and like physical stunted
Okay.
levels of like I messed up when it came to those people. And sometimes I wish that they never came into my life. My life could have gone a whole completely different
Yeah,
direction
but
had it not been for these.
but yeah, I got a question. Don't you love who you are today, and don't you love where you're at right now?
Um, That's complicated for me.
Okay.
I do love who I am right now, but I love who I am right now because I choose to love who I am right now. They're no different than how I would choose to love a significant other. I know that I, as a human being, I'm complex just like any other human being. That is to say that I've reached acceptance, but reaching acceptance alone is not enough. You see? So if I was to say, oh, I love who I am right now, there'd be like a good part of that. Not that it's that significant, but it's still like just big enough to say that I wouldn't entirely be telling the truth,
Hey man,
right?
that's real.
Um,
I think
I've
that
accepted myself for who I am. Go for it.
no, you can go. Continue.
I've accepted myself for who I am. And because of that, I'm able to accept any other person. That's part of the reason why I can take people as they come, and I'm like 100% take all comers when it comes to like whatever baggage or emotions that might come with that, because I understand that I was part of my journey that got me there. They may not be there yet, and I'm more than happy to be part of their life because they could run into any number of person that, on the contrary, would either use them or abuse them. It is not to say that I'm completely immune from that because sometimes you might be using someone without you noticing that you do, or you do it without thinking or whatever. There's all types of gray areas, and that is the harshness that I could say that comes from being in humanity. But um, would I change things about my past? Yes, absolutely, I would. But the things that I would change about my past, weirdly enough, are, let's say, a good 3 or 4 things that ultimately would be completely selfish of me. And when I put it in that context, there's nothing at all that I would change from my past. But that doesn't mean that I'm 100% happy where I'm at right now.
Mm. Hey, I think that that kind of your experience in this and what your perspective on that, I think will give some people, maybe even a lot of people, some like free, like some relief and maybe some freedom in that. Even though it it is, it's not typical. It's not a typical response. It's not a it's a realistic. It's a real response. It's like, that's what I'll probably. It's a very like raw like take on like the realities of life, where the sometimes it's not like black and white, it's like you said, it has so many different shades. And like the most profound things in the life are not are things that are just so confusing but also make so much sense. It's just like it's like an iceberg. It's just on the surface, but then there's so much more deeper things, and those things are things we can't quite put a description on or a label on, and they're just meant to be what they are. And I think you just, I think that's how I see your perspective on this. And that's the thing, is like it's not so much the people themselves that really change a person, or sometimes it is the person themselves, but sometimes it's just the experience of real time, trying to get through relationships, trying to get through dynamics in in practice. Sometimes, like for me, I'm kind of not really an experienced person when it comes to dealing with any kind of dynamic of relationships, because I've been a loner for a lot of my life. I've been a very much not antisocial, because that's an actual thing, but I'm very much a I was very much a internal person who observed others rather than partake and participated in social life. Um, very much all the things that ever happened to me were very much internal for a lot of my life. But so that's why being like actually getting the experience of actually of like going out there and dealing with actual people, and realizing people are more than just the surface level, more than what you can observe, more than what you can just see. And also just getting that real life um like practice of like trying to navigate these types of situations are the things that, even when they go negative, even though you can't really see a reason why any of this happened, or you can't really see like the point of these bad interactions, like they do have a profound impact on you, because you've at least experienced it, so when it happens again, you're better at dealing with it. And I think that's like what I can say about like my most recent crush, I guess. And that my ex as well, I definitely can see through a lot people's intentions a lot better, and he taught me he taught me some bad. Let's just say it didn't come out, it was a bad ending. It was happily not after. Or not happily ever after. Anyway, that's just a joke. But and then my best friend of 10 years, I guess I could say a lot about him. He was he was a very important person in my life, because regardless of how it ended, which ended not very well, um, uh, he was someone that gave me hope that I could have friendship, and that I can actually um connect with others. He gave me the confidence that maybe I could be someone who had friends who could be a good friend. He gave me that kind of like that I had value, that I he made me feel like I had value. He made me feel like I was an important person. Um, how it ended wasn't so much that we were bad friends to each other. It was more so that we couldn't give what we needed to each other as friends. Um, I had grown to have certain expectations that he could not live up to, which I think maybe in retrospect it was nothing to do with him and just happened to be the case. Um and what I mean by that is that, everybody has, I guess I can tie back into what I said before, that hot take, which love with expectations is the most common form of love. And like unconditional love is so rare that not even people who are mothers or parents, even, they think they have unconditional love, but they really, in my opinion, they don't. um Even parental love is conditional, because if it was unconditional, then there'd be no reason to discipline kids, there'd be no reason to teach them right from wrong. um I don't know. Well, I think you could still love somebody throughout the most worst things that they become, but when does that become enabling the worst traits and their worst actions that they do? You know, that's where that becomes a gray area for me. Unconditional. So when I say, the conditions and the expectations, it's like it's more so about, for me, the role in which they play in my life. If they and it's all consensual, so like I'm never gonna put expectations on others, or at least I've learned. Okay, I can't say that I never have, because I have in the past put expectations on others where they may not have consented to it. um but I think it's a good thing to start a conversation, which I did with this friend of mine, and it's the reason why we had a falling out. But the roles in which people play in our lives, we get to choose who we put in those roles, and and we get to we get to talk about, or tell people, hey, you're my best friend, or you're my close friend, or you're a family member to me, or you're this to me, you're my lover, you're my wife, husband, whatever. You're my like, well, son or daughter is more so like, that's on you. That's a responsibility on you to become that the role that they need. But any other relationship, it's a give and take. It's like a you have your these are the roles that this entails. These are the things that this entails. If you are going to be this and this, you're going to be this thing to me in my life. Um, you know so when you have like a best friend, right, and you've learned, for me, I had this thought in my head that, well, I grew to feel as though, for me to consider someone my best friend, um loyalty loyalty to the utmost, and me being able to be my complete self with this person, or me being able to be myself without fear of rejection, or um fear fear of rejection, or at least fear of abandonment. um Also, it also comes with, like I said, really really deep loyalty of, like, you're gonna be there in a real way, in which, and where I need it, when I need it. But that's not one-sided. It's whatever I like, that same thing I will provide as well. Like, I will not, if you're gonna be my best friend, I'm gonna accept you as you are, have understanding towards you in your worst times, when you have the ugliest traits, when you're the most angry. I'm gonna be patient with you, or maybe, like, at the very least, our friendship is not over just because we had like difficulties, or we had ugly moments together. That's the thing, is like, I'm still going to be here, I'm still going to stand with this person, even after, if they said something into me in anger. It's different when they're just that's just their character. But if it's like, it's something that they were just saying in the moment, then, that's how I see that. So, um in a also in a loyalty way, I'm gonna be by this person's side in their darkest moments, and, like, in a real way, not just in a fake way, not just in a surface level way, but in a deep way.